Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I posted. Well maybe not since I posted, but since I filmed a video. It's been a week or so since I did anything with this model. I've had a lot going on and a lot of real life stuff. And I'm just now getting back to working on this. Since the last video though, I have taken and puttied around the bottom, the seam around the bottom of these pylons, where, around the base of them, and that's kind of. Oh, and I weathered this. I completely weathered this. Then I did that, and that's where I've left it. I've got this cracked seam here that just keeps coming back. I've redone it 4 times now, and it's one of those things. I'm gonna have to wait until I get both halves sealed together before it's stabilized. Um, then I'll be able to fix that. But that's a later thing to fix. It's held together. It's not gonna come apart. It's just it's not like a solid. It flexes. Um, these are getting close to cracking as well. If I don't like go ahead and get this thing situated, quit moving it around. But this is definitely the worst one. But it's been that way so even before I put paint on it. It's just that one's being the butt. Anyways, though, this thing is it looks a lot better now that it's weathered. And these gray parts blend way better. Um, as they should. The next thing I'm gonna do is right here on the actual filming miniature. When I'm looking at references, this plate, at least for the one that's on the top, and these mirror each other so closely that I think I'm just gonna make the top and bottom match. There's a square detail right here, which is kind of sort of molded on here. It's just not done very well on this part. And then there's a plate that comes down that is smooth that meets this bottom plate. There's no seam there, and so I took when I did my putty work, I made that happen to where it's a smooth transition there. And then on either side of this little square plate detail that's in the middle of it, there is where there's circles in these two details. There's another circle cut out on either side, and I've already picked the size drill bit. It's this one. Not sure what size this is. The little kit I pulled it out of does not have the sizes marked. But it came out of this one. I think it's like, I don't know, a couple millimeters. I think it's 2 millimeter. I don't know, but that's the size I'm gonna use. It's the closest to what I'm seeing in comparison to these on the references. So I'm just gonna take my little hand drill and put 2 holes on each of these plates, all three, and then I'm gonna give these some sanding where I puttied all of this, and then so we'll paint it back up. We'll get our base coat color, and get it a couple of coats. Just brush it on, and then we will blend the weathering again to make it all match again, and then it'll be ready to go. Once we get to that point, I might, well, here we've got that, and then we did that, and then I also went ahead and drilled my holes in this platform, and this base, this kit supply base piece that I'm going to use temporarily, and I'm going to go ahead and probably go ahead and mount this thing once I get those other things done. It's ready to go on the stand. So I'm gonna take. I will take, before I do that, the I'm gonna take the paint off of my masking, where I masked off the my little light domes here so that the lights will work. And then when I get around to doing some more painting on this and doing my clear coat and all that, I will take and just put another latex mask on there. But I'll do that before I mount it. But then I'll take and I will mount it on this stand, and then at that point I'll check in with you guys again. But I'm not gonna paint this. I'm gonna leave it clear, because I'm not planning on using this permanently. This is just a temporary until I get my actual base built for this model. I'm gonna do a custom base, which is what I like doing anyways, and it will be, instead of this, it'll have some brass rods that holds it up off the base. But when I get all that done, I will check back in with you guys. So I will. Oh, and stay tuned for this. I've got all of my I've got everything in that I need to do the Defiant. And I'm going to do more than one at a time. You know, we've got 6 of these things. Well, I could do all 6 of them at one time. I'm not, but I am going to do at least 2 or 3 of them all at once, because they're so small and simple. And but there's some meticulous work that is involved, and I just think with so many of them and me actually wanting to do all of them, I'm going to, and I got plans for each one. I'm just going to do I'm going to do them in batches. So stay tuned for that. The next episode of this is probably going to be a Defiant episode, where we will just be doing we'll be getting the Defiant ready. But just a little additive to this update. Anyways, be right back. All right, guys. Well, I got that all done. It's not got perfect seams under there, but around the base of the pylons, but it's good enough for the moment. I went ahead and got it on this base. Nothing's glued or anything. It's just mounted on the pegs. Because again, this is temporary, and it's stable enough on there that like it's not gonna fall off or fall over. So so that's exciting. Got that. Won't be too terribly long, and we'll be able to put this on there as well. Position that in there. And cool. Anyways. Okay, so now what I'm doing right now is what you can see right there. I'm taking and I'm light blocking using some of this tulips, and I'm light blocking where like the under where the parts are actually glued together. Those pylons, I had to clear the paint between both the pieces, and there's a defined line. I'll show you it on this one. I'll show you it on this one. I'll get it right in a second. There's a defined line where I took the paint away and to get them cemented together, and crossed here too. And it will cast light through there. I've already looked, and like you can see, let's see if I can get it where you can see. There we go. So you can see when the light's in there, you can see the light leaking around that seam. So I'm doing the best I can to light block it on the inside with this tulips. So that's the next thing I'm doing right now. Once I get all of the light blocking done for that, I'm going to take, these are trash there, I'm going to take and start working on the electronics here. I need to wire manage these that are just kind of willy-nilly hanging around. So along here and here, I need to wire manage these positive and negatives. And then I need to take my, where's it at? I need to take, right here, I've already pre-bagged up the amount I need of this LED strip. And they're going to be cut in segments, but go ahead and get them placed throughout this ring and soldered in. Solder the leads and everything. Go ahead and get the electronics done for this this ring and these arms. Once I get that done, and I'll probably check in with you guys at that point. Maybe before, but that's what I'm doing next. Something I kind of wanted to mention, I thought was interesting, was now that we got it on the stand, I noticed this. You see how all of these are angled up? They're not flat, they come up. It's especially noticeable when you've got this kind of dry fitted together with the top on it as well. I did that the other day. I dry fitted one section of the top with a pylon on it to play around with it and give myself something to look forward to. and it helped me understand how this thing fits together, to help me plan a little bit on how I'm gonna do that process. Anyways, that gives you a little better perspective. You can see how this is raised above this section, and these arms are angled upward. I didn't know it was like that, and I thought that was a weird flexing going on with this kit. And it turns out it's not just something funky about this kit. That's actually accurate. And I never noticed this about the drawing until this illustration, until after I got noticed it like this. But when they draw this ship, this station, sorry, when they draw it, it's exactly like that. You can see the arms are angled upward, and the center platform is a little taller and or on a higher plane than the outer ring. That was not just an illustration choice to show different levels, because you got a 2D image. That's actually true to the station itself, and I never noticed that with the studio model and watching the show and everything. I always just assumed it was flat. And so that's not the case. It's kind of platformed on different planes. So that's pretty cool. Just something I noticed. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the electronics inside this ring, and I'll check back in with you in just a bit. So see you then. Hey everybody. So I have just spent such a long time doing this one section that I thought I would just stop and show you what I'm doing. I'll give you a little update before I move on. Yeah, I've got this one third done, minus these 3 strips. They're just kind of laying there. But from this one all the way around to this one, they're all done. My little tape flags here so I don't get confused here. So this is just a bunch of magnet wire because I needed something really thin, and I was scared my my regular stuff, this 30 gauge, would be I mean not 30 gauge, 28 gauge. I was just scared my regular wire would be a little too thick. So it looks chaotic, but it works. And I was careful and everything. I plugged it in, everything's working. And then it goes, and of course I got, these are done with regular wire. Goes all the way. And then I hadn't done those yet. And I did my the spotlights that go onto the pylons. The ones that go underneath are in, and that's the lead for that. And connects right there to the other one. It's right here. So because these are such, they come on such thin, like thin, really aggravating to you to work with wire. And they're pre-wired with resistor and everything. I'm doing my best to not have to cut it off and have to redo it because it's really hard to do. I just have a hard time working with this really thin stuff that comes on these pre-wired. These came from HDA Model Works, I think. They're great. It's just really hard to work with that wire. That's why I like the pre-wired. It's just you end up with a lot of wire to have to deal with. So instead of trying to cut this stuff, I'm trying to work with it at the length it is. And there's not a lot. There's not a lot of room inside this thing at all. And so I'm running them to the middle joint where they meet in the middle right here, and then I'm putting my positives together and my negatives together. And all of these things that I'm doing, I can't go ahead and cap off. I need to have still open to be able to solder to, because the top half has to come down, and then everything for these and for these junctions, all of those will have to I'll have to solder to. So what I may end up doing is putting a little bit, just a kind of a short lead on each of them, and solder these junctions with a lead sticking out. But regardless, I gotta have access to all that power when I go to put the two halves together, and which means I'll have to, like, all the way around this thing. That's like 6 places that I'm going to have to solder connections to, which is going to be precarious as crap because the whole top assembly is going to be together. And I'll have to just keep shifting things around and getting it until I've went all the way around and got all 6 connection points soldered and capped off and everything. And then we can start sealing it up. Like it's don't be a dang job. If this wasn't already a dang job, that's gonna be a heck of a job. But I just thought I would give you guys a quick update and show you what this looked like. So I found out after the fact that when I put this on and look at it, there's actually plenty of room in here to use the regular wire and not the magnet wire, which is great. However, now that I've done this, I kind of want to just do it the same all the way around because it's my brain's just like that. I don't like tempting. Whether it's tempting fate or not, I don't like my brain thinking I'm tempting fate by not being consistent. but I looked at this, and it's actually the top side is deeper than the bottom side as far as how much room is under here, and like it's much deeper, and which is weird, but what it means is I don't have to worry about these not coming together because of what's inside. So that's good. But I'm just working on this. It's taking a heck of a long time. This was several hours in the making, getting all of this figured out and actually executed. And I'm not the best at soldering. I've said that before. I'm pretty bad at it. I mean, if you look at this, it's pretty crude. Especially when you look at where they're all joined together. I like putting a ball of bead there because then I can just be extra sure that they're all soldered up and connected. I know it doesn't need that, but it just makes me feel better. But like, I don't know. It also takes me a long time to solder because I'm just not good at it. Anyways, I'm gonna quit rambling on, and I'm gonna keep working on this, and it may take me a couple days or so to finish it. This is really taking a long time. But when I get through with this and get this all connected up, I'll come back and I'll come back and show it to you. So see you in a minute. Well, wait. Before we go, let's hook it up, and I'll show you a little taste test of what this looks like. My alligator clamps would clamp. Okay. So prepare for extreme brightness. Oh, it's not that bad on camera, but it kind of hurts in person. There's that, and you can see I've got the spotlight on this side because it's actually connected already. This side isn't connected. They're just hanging here. I'll turn the lights off. Now you can see how this is illuminating even past this, and you can see it lights up the pylon a little bit, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. I aimed these things to where they're shining right here at this type of angle. I haven't light blocked the exposed side yet. I put the domes on them and everything. I need to go back once I finish doing all this wiring. I didn't go ahead and do it because I wanted to move on to something else and finish my wiring first, and then I can go back and paint this. But I'm gonna take and flip it back over and paint around those little domes, light block them, make them look better, and make them look like what it looked like in the effect shots on the show. The model itself, this is kind of interesting. When you look at the model itself, the actual studio model, the references that I'm looking at, there's no light domes for those spotlights on the model at all. There's nothing there. There's not a little window there. There's not a hole. There's nothing. But in the effect shots, you can see them there, and I'm pretty sure it's because they added them in post. They were CGI post processed lights, After Effect lights that they rendered for the effect shots in the show, and so it's not technically on the model, but when it's put all together before it gets to the before they put it on screen for everybody to see, they add those in. So, but they're not supposed to be lit from the backside. The light's only supposed to be the facing side of the pylon, around to the top. It's like it's a directional spotlight. But it is a dome. So, anyways, all right, I've rambled on again far enough. So I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'll check back in here in just a bit. So see you when I get there. Okay, everybody. Well, I've got all of my static lighting on this on the docking ring done. It's for it, or at least the lower the lower half of the docking ring. And I went ahead and put my little tape label flags on everything, because I can power it from the base like it's supposed to be now, and I'll show you that. Oh, super bright. And it's the spotlights too. I'll show you that in a second. There we go. Now you can see our spotlights are working, and they're all working. And this side's working too. Yeah, the lit up like the sun up there. But you can see how those pylons are lit up, even though they're super blown out. Not much I can do about that. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. They're starting to look pretty good. It'll look much better when I can put a better camera on it for you guys. But you can get the idea. You can see that these are lit up, and they got a really nice floodlight effect. I actually tested a couple of different resistors. These were pre-wired with the resistors on them. It was actually just cheaper for me to get them with the resistors on them than it was to get them without when I was doing my shopping, and I trusted these. Whereas if I tried to get cheaper without resistors, they might have been like for crap. But these I knew were good. Whatever the story was at the time, it's been a few weeks. But I got these, and then I tested this resistor versus a 1K resistor, because Donuts in Space, when he did this model and did these, same exact size SMD and everything, he used a 1K resistor at 9 volts, which is what I'm running this at, is 9 volts. And the 1K resistor was actually brighter than this. It was too bright. I got a picture of it right here. I'll superimpose the picture for you so you can see. And I set up a little a test, an experiment test, and I had one of these with just the pre-wire, and one of these with a 1K resistor, and I got their angles and everything, and the exact it's close to exact the same angle as I could. And then I got a separation wall and 2 halves of a little styrofoam bowl at the end of a piece of plywood that I had laying here, and I just cut all the lights off and
put power to them, and I just to test the floodlight effect and see which one was casting further, and that would tell me which one was brighter. Because I didn't want it super overly bright. The best I could get in the 1K was actually too much, so I went with the pre-wired, which just made everything easier. I didn't have to change out all those little resistors on these just finite little wires that come on these things. I'm pretty sure these are the HDMA Model Works. Actually, I can check right now. Yeah, these are HDMA Model Works. Pre-wired for, I think it's, yeah, 9 to 12 volt 603 warm white SMDs. That's what these are. And I could have stood them to be, which I could stand everything in the model to be just a bit dimmed down a little bit, but for pre-wired out without me having to do a bunch of funky stuff to make that happen, I'm happy with this at 9 volts and it be just like this. Like, it looks really good in person. It's like, it puts a smile on my face every time I look at it. Even though this camera here is just blooming the crap out of it. Anyways, though, so all of the static lighting is done on this model. So the next thing to do is to take, here, let me put the light back on. So the next thing to do is to get this thing on there and wired up, I think. I don't, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to actually glue any of it, which I need to do some prep work to get where the ends of these arms actually fit in these slots. I need to do a little prep work with getting the paint off of it so it'll glue properly, but I don't think I'm actually going to glue it down yet, because these clamps right here, I did some testing and they're actually, it's a fit. They're gonna have to fit over the top part when I put the top on, and it's not gonna be able to slide under there if this is glued down. So, but it's got to be attached because I've got wiring that has to be wired into all of this that I can't do once I've got the top on it. So there's a little bit of coordination and multitasking going on from here on out. So it's going to be a juggle for the rest of this model once we get the top half painted up. And so that's where we're at. We're going to take and put that piece on here and get the wire leads where they're supposed to be, so everything's wired up and working and powered and works. In fact, let me go ahead and show you. Oh, these lights down here on the bottom, they're not lighting up a whole lot, but you can see where a little bit of that light's coming through. Let me put the light back off again. You can see where I scraped a little bit of the paint off there and here. And I kind of just stopped. I didn't keep going. But I need to go ahead and get the paint all the way around those little windows on the gondolas. You can see where the light's coming through the holes on the bottom. Something I do need to do, and I needed to test by taking the paint off of the outside first. But it turns out I do need to do a little bit of cleanup where I got some overspray on the inside. It's doing just enough to be noticeable, or at least in person. So because you can see where it's not evenly lit, and there's no reason for that other than it's got overspray. So I need to take and clean those. That's nothing but a thing. And then take and get the rest of the paint scraped off of the windows on those gondolas, and we'll be good to go there. Where was I going with that? Uh, well, there you get the little picture of the inside of my brain most of the time. My brain's just like that. Anyways, that being said, I lied to you. The next step is not putting that thing on. Oh, I was gonna show. I remember now. I was gonna show you that the uh the flashing red lights on the docking pylon powers are they do work. I've got them wired up, and they're working from the base like they should. Okay, so I got that. I'm gonna have like at least 30 minutes of footage to edit out of this entire video. Anyways, just so you can see, those are flashing. My hand's in the way of the back one, but it's flashing too. Yeah, see? So, yep, those are flashing. Okay, so I lied. The next thing is actually this. And this is important, and this is something I don't need to forget. We got the Defiant, and it's going to be docked right here. I went and double checked, and this is the pylon it's going to be docked to, which is convenient because there's the main power. Doesn't have very far for my leads to go for it to light. Little docking port's going to be right here, and the Defiant is going to be docked to it, like so. And what we need to do is we need to run. We need to build our Defiant and get it lit up, and have our positive and negative to our static light sticking out. So we'll have to drill a hole through the docking portal into the deflector of the Defiant with it permanently docked to it, and put the leads through that, and then also our fiber optic to all our strobe lights, and have all those sticking out of here ready to go. And then we need to take one of these 3mm quick burst strobe cool white, pre-wired from Evan Designs. I need to put one of them. I've got two because I currently have two. I'm going to get more later, but I have two because I'm building two of these Defiants. One of them is going to be docked to the station, and one of them is going to be its own little model. And I'm doing them both exactly the same, essentially. One of them will have the decals will be different. One will have the kit supplied decals, and one will have the HDA ModelWorks decals aftermarket that I got as well. That'd be like the only difference though. But I'll have two Defiants, and but one of them will go to here, and one of those 3mm strobe lights will go in here. So all of my fiber optic is going to go to that bulb, that LED. So it will be ready to go, and they, like all of these docking ring portals and everything, are going to be installed before the top of the station comes, because if I want light, or like especially this one with wiring and everything to come through here, it has to be put on beforehand. So there's a little bit of reasoning for that, but also we're docking the Defiant to it, so obviously. But that's actually the next step for this wiring, is we need to put a 3mm strobe light right here, wired right here, and then the leads for that strobe's the circuitry for that strobe is over here on this docking pylon. That's what this little coil taped up coil of connecting wires is R, whatever is it? That would be is. I'm talking about this piece. So is whatever, grammar. So it's going to connect to this over there. Just to keep, I've got 3 pylons. I've got 3 circuits to keep them all separate. Each one has its own designated pylon to keep me from screwing up. That's why I did it that way. Even though the Defiant's way over here, its strobe circuit's going to go down that pylon because that's how I'm going to be able to manage it. Anyways, so that's what's coming next. So this will go in and then we'll be ready to go. So check in next video when we build the USS Defiant. It's going to be an entire build, probably at least 2 videos about this USS Defiant. The first one will be building it, doing the electronics, whatever adaptations we need to do, getting it ready, everything it needs pre-painting, and then if we cut it in half, which we probably will, the second half will be painting and putting our decals and everything on it and getting it finished up. When we attach it to this thing, we will not completely attach this here. I think what we'll probably do is have this kind of hanging out a little bit by the leads, and when we sandwich the 2 halves together, after that's finished up, then we'll take and we'll push that in there and get it connected. That might be the best way to do this, instead of trying to glue it on like here and then find out after the fact that I've got alignment issues. So anyways, I'm rambling on about my plans instead of just letting you guys go. You probably quit on me by now. Anyways, check out the next video. We're building the Defiant. I'm actually excited about that. I've been really digging the idea of and getting excited about it because I've got 6 of the things. I've got 6, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I got 2 of these kits. And each come with 3 Defiants. Because of the way they did the molds. So I've got 6 of these, and this is one of them right here. This is my test version. I'm gonna end up doing something else with it, but this was just my prototype test. So I've got 5 more, and I've got plans for each one of them. I've got it all planned out, and it's I'm really excited. But we're gonna start off with just these 2. One attached to the station and one not. But exciting stuff. We're like at the halfway point on this model. This is really, I'm really happy with where it's at right now. This was a big step. This was like a full day's work. Basically putting all of this in. This was not even basically, it really was. This was a full day's work. Getting all those lights in. But it paid off because it's done and it looks really good, and I think it's gonna really look really good when I get these 2 halves sandwiched together and start doing my lights or doing the windows. Then it's really gonna look nice. But that's for future videos. I've told you guys, I was letting you go like 5 times now. Everybody have a great one. Tune in to the next one. And hopefully tune in to the next one. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody's having a great week, month, whatever. I hope everybody's been enjoying this build series. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of work. I have to take breaks every now and then because this is a testy model, with it being clear, but it's very rewarding when I get it when I get it looking good. So I hope everyone else is enjoying it too. And until the next video, happy modeling.